I will be also recording this video, so for those who are not able to join us, that this will be later available on the YouTube, and we will set it. We will set a link on the event website. Okay, so let's start. Sorry, no, I need to see this piece. So this represents. Okay. Okay. First question is what is needed to enter the championship. You obviously need 2026 ORC International certificate issued no later than 1st August 2026 with CDL between 8 and 16.4 and flotation date not earlier than 7th August 2021. At this point, basically, I would say by yesterday when I was checking this, I know there are two boats that for the moment still do not have international or 26 international certificates. Okay, so I understood that. I know that the Stony X will go through the measurements soon, and Arabella. So if any one of these two boats, please be sure that you have the certificates before issued not later than 1st of August. Flotation date, there are two boats that still have flotation date earlier than 7th August 21, which is boat called Next and Nicole. So you need to have all sails measured. All sails, main sails, head sails on the forestay, head sails are flying symmetric, asymmetric spinnaker shall be measured according to IMS rules. Storm and heavy weather sails shall be measured according to the World Sailing Offshore Special Regulations. And all sails shall have a measurement stamp or sticker with all required measurement clearly readable. If we cannot read the measurements or there is no stamp, then we will need to measure the sail there and with appropriate measurement fee. Please be sure it's easier for you and for us that you have all the sails measured. So you need to have the stamp like this on the top of your sail with all the measurements clearly readable. And please check that the measurements you have are actually those that are recorded in your certificate. The pre-race equipment inspection will go through Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday from 9 to 1 and with lunch break then from 2 to 6 and Sunday in the morning. Booking of the time slots for inspection will be available through the Doodle online system. So email invitation will be sent by the end of this week. Hopefully we have another call with organizers tomorrow. And by tomorrow, when I get all the email addresses, that be sure that you read the email addresses in which you are registered and managed to sail. You will receive a link where you will be able to click and select the time slot you want to be checked. The slots are usually for 45 minutes. There will be 3 measurements team. And basically when you get this, be sure, and with the Doodle, please be sure to select one slot only and enter your boat name or identification somehow. Doodle will probably also give you the possibility to say yes, one, no, maybe, but if you take more than one, then you actually book another space that can be taken by another boat. So if you are using the Doodle, please be sure to book one slot only. How to get prepared? Both shall be at care designated berth because we will get from the organizers mooring plan, so we know we will find you. So be ready at the scheduled time with responsible person on board, owner and the skipper. Present all sails with the corner taken out from the bag showing the ORC measurement step. Make a clear decision which sails you want to use during the championship and have all safety equipment ready for inspection. So what we are doing, basically, we are checking your sails, checking the numbers that are recorded on the measurement step and comparing this with what you have in the certificate. We are checking your safety equipment and we are checking if you have the, what internal ballast or anything like this. For the sails, the maximum number of sails to be used, excluding storm and heavy weather sails, shall be as defined in ORC Rule 206. These CDL limits are basically relevant to the class limits, but it's also recorded on your certificate. On the first page of the certificate, you will see how many head sails and spinnaker you may have. Main sails are always limited to the 2 main sails. So each boat shall select sails to be used at the event up to the maximum number sails defined above. Select sails will be marked with an event sticker. Only sails marked with an event sticker may be on board during the event. Basically, for example, if you are in class C and you have you have 7 spinnakers, you need to define which 4 spinnakers you will use. And those sails that you select, you will get the event sticker, and those are the sails that will be registered for that event. Question is usually how many sails you should have on the boat. So sails carried on board may vary from day to day, but shall remain the same for each race day, including days with multiple races, even in case of damage to sail. The race day begins when the boat leaves for the race course from its docks or mooring. Basically, it's completely up to you to decide how many sails you will have on board. But once you go out, that's it for the day. So if you go out with the one mainsail and you, for any reason, break this mainsail, you cannot go back and replace it, or you cannot have it delivered to the chase boat or something. So be sure that depending on your decision, decide, depending on the tactics, weather forecast, or whatever, decide which sails you want to use. Because once you leave the dock, you cannot change the sails for that day. Sails damaged during the event may be repaired. Sails beyond repair may be replaced with the permission of the technical committee. So if you have any sails damaged, you need to show us. We need to inspect that is damaged beyond repair, and then you can get permission to replace that sail with another one. Of course, any sail that you want to put in later, of course, that it has to be measured and within the measurements that you have in your certificate. Internal ballast is checked. If there is any weight and position will be checked. We will take the photo just to know. And internal ballast shall be properly fixed below the cabin sole or as low as possible fixed to the hull structure to prevent movement. Fixed means literally fixed means by bolting, welding, Sikaflex material or something like this. The important is that there is no possibility to be loose or moved for any reason, or a possibility to change the trim of the boat. So we will be checking if there is internal ballast. I'm not sure if there is any boat, maybe if there is some boats with a water ballast there, which is probably more suitable for the double-handed races. For the moment, I don't know, but also if there is something, we will record that there is a water ballast. Crew weight. Now I want to be clear, and I will get to several times about this crew weight during this presentation. So crew weight is not part of the pre-race equipment inspection, but there is a scale available for your own check. Crew weight may be checked during the post-race, and if it's found greater than the maximum or smaller than the minimum, the technical committee will protest the boat, and very probably the decision will be disqualification. So be sure to have your crew weight properly declared in the certificate. Just to explain you as a general principle of ORC rules, there are two items that you are basically declaring on the certificate. First one is the crew weight. The second one is use of asymmetric on the center line only if you have this option. So crew weight is something that you declare. Be sure you can always declare more to have safety margin and to know that your crew is within the limits. Crews is weighted in the light street clothes, means shorts, at least shorts, t-shirt and the flip-flops. And it will be weighted immediately after the race. So I will stress this later when we go again through the procedures, but be sure that you have your crew weight within the limits. If you are out of the limits, you can be disqualified for all the races in which you were sailing with such a crew. This is, let's say, the general explanation. Is there any rule before I start also with safety equipment list? Okay, no questions. Matteo, no questions?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, good. So the safety equipment is frankly very easy. There is the safety equipment checklist that is already published on the event's website, and there's on this link. I mean, I can probably show you, but I will go through all the items. Uh, Simply preparation. Print this list and check that you have everything. And if it's something missing or if you have any doubts, you can always send an email, questions, clarification. I hope that I will explain everything through this presentation, but there is always something that people are not 100% sure. But frankly, after doing many this championship, every time we are doing just this presentation to make things easier for you. And sometimes I know that we still come to an event and people are still coming and missing something or, missing items. And frankly, it is so easy that you print the list, and it's easy and probably less expensive that you have all the safety equipment other than find yourself in the event and then you see where I need to buy some tether or I need to buy life jacket or something. It's really better to get prepared well in advance. That list, of course, is a kind of guidelines for us and for you, but it cannot cover everything that is written in the offshore special regulations. So that you still have the full responsibility to comply with the offshore special regulations, and this is not limited to the safety checklist. But let's say safety checklist is something that is 99% giving you the way how to know what will be checked. So starting from each item of the safety equipment, I will go through each item again. If you have any questions, you can drop it here, and I will make some notes for those items that I know that are usually the problems and has been problems during the last championships. So we need navigation lights that are mounted above the sheet line, and so they will not be masked by the sailors or the healing the boat. Minimum 10 watts for LOA less than 12 meters and minimum 25 for more than 12 meters. Reserve lights having the same specification and that can be powered independently, and spare bulbs that are not required for LED bulbs. Marine VHF transceiver is needed with minimum rated output of 25 watts. A masthead antenna with coaxial feeder cable with not more than 40% power loss. In additionally, there is to the fixed one, there is also requirement for a handheld VHF transceiver that shall be stored in a grab bag. In the later screens, I will come to that grab bag. So for the moment, let's remember that we are talking about the handheld VHF transceiver that should be in a grab bag. Then you need the AIS transporter, shares the masthead VHF antenna, or has a dedicated AIS antenna not less than 38 centimeters in the specification listed here. And both AIS shall be active from the first day of the equipment inspection until the end of the event. So the AIS shall always be active, and I think this is written as addition to the rule, basically in the notice of race. It also helps us to locate the boat, and it is the safety rule, and it is regardless of the tracking that may be. The AIS is something where we know that we can locate the boat in any moment. A taper soft plug, wood plugs adjusting to every through hole opening. Fire blanket adjusting to every cooking device with an open flame. 2 fire extinguishers, each with 2 kilo of dry powder or equivalent in different parts of the boats. So obviously those needs to be serviced and within the expiration date. I mean, if I remember on the one of the last championship, we found someone who presented the fire extinguisher 40 years old. Unfortunately, this was not good. So be sure to have 2 fire extinguisher, each of 2 kilos or equivalent, and in different part of the boat. Searchlight, flashlight, and searching light. So searchlight suitable for searching for person or boat at night and for a collision. Watertight flashlight in the grab bag or emergency container. Remember here I'm talking about grab bag, so I will come later to the grab bag exactly list what needs to be in the grab bag, and spare batteries and bulbs for both. First aid manual and first aid kit. So basically, the contents and storage shall reflect the likely conditions and duration of the passage and the number of the crew. Then foghorn, rigging cutter, meaning as an effective means to quickly disconnect or sever the standing rigging from the boat, and the knife stored in the grab bag. Again, I'm referring here to the grab bag that will come later in the slides. A radar reflector should be either octahedral circular plates of minimum diameter 30 centimeters or diagonal diameter dimension 40 centimeters, or non-octahedral reflector with documented root main square. Basically, again, all this specification, not to go through all the details now, also on the checklist, on the first page on the checklist, there is a checklist with the check boxes. On the pages 2 to 5, there is explanation with the picture, and there is a reference to the rule of OSR. So if you have any doubts, please just open the OSR and check all the details in that specific rule. Navigation charts, not solely electronic, and chart plotting equipment, marine magnetic compass. You need one that is permanently installed marine magnetic steering compass, independent of any power supply, and the second compass, which may be handheld or electronic. Pyrotechnics shall be provided conforming to the SOLAS code. You need 4 red hand flares and 2 orange smoke floors. Now, when we come to the grab bag again, you will see that there are a couple of more things that are required in addition to this. So this is one item that when you think about pyrotechnics, check that you have 4 red hand flares and 2 orange smoke flares. 2 strong buckets, each with a lanyard of at least 9 liters, and 1 not permanently installed manual bilge pump. Permanently installed bilge pump shall be operable with all cockpit seats, and all removable bilge pump handles retained by the lanyard. Anchors. This is one of the questions that usually we are getting. So you need 2 unmodified anchors that meet that anchors manufacturer recommendation based on the boat's dimensions, with suitable combination of chain and rope, ready for immediate assembly and ready for deployment in the 5 minutes. Usual question is how big the anchor is. The rule is not saying exactly, neither kilos of lengths of meters of chains or something, but the rule is something that should be appropriate to the size of the boat. So the first question for yourself is, do you think that you can anchor with the anchor that you have on the boat? Obviously, on the 40-footer, you will not come with a small anchor of 5 kilos and 1 meter of chain and the rope or something like this. So here we need to use a bit of common sense to understand the size of anchor appropriate to the size of the boat. Usually, we were saying that the dimension of the chain roughly you can count 1 meter of chain for 1 meter of length of the boat, plus chain plus the rope. And what is also important, that all this is kept together and ready for immediate assembly, ready for the deployment within the 5 minutes. So you cannot have anchor in the bow, chain in the stern, and rope somewhere in the cabin in the middle, because then you will probably need a bit more than 5 minutes to assembly and deploy it in such configuration. Life jackets. Each crew member shall have a life jacket which shall have an emergency position indicating light, whistle, lifting loop, automatic manual gas inflation system, be clearly marked with the boat's or wearer's name, have a spray hood in accordance with ISO 12402, and a boat shall have at least one glass inflatable life jacket spare cylinders and, if appropriate, spare activation head for each type of life jacket on the boat. So, sorry, there is a mistake. It should be on the boat. Also, by the notice of race, life jackets shall be worn while on the deck during the offshore races. I may also notice that actually here the life raft itself is not required. It is not required by category 3, and some races we were using the category 3 plus life rafts, but since the life raft is not required, it is quite important requirement to have life jackets always worn while on deck. So the only thing that you cannot, well, if you are going inside the boat, you can, but while on deck, the life jackets, all the crew members should have all life jackets. Life jackets again, emergency position light, whistle, lifting loop, and spray hood are important. Please be sure that you have life jackets that comply with all this. Tethers, another item that has gone through never-ending stories sometimes, and I can report that actually we, after all these years, we together were working with World Sailing, and we proposed slightly different wording that for the moment not yet, but for the next wording, next rule will be probably amended in the sense that really clarify, because when you read the rule, you may have some doubts, but let me try to, to make it easy and to explain to you how we were interpreting this always so far. So you have two options. Either you have 2-point tether or 3-point tether. If there is a 2-point tether, shall not be longer than 1 meter, including the length of the hooks. If it is 3-point tethers, then it should have intermediate self-closing hook. So basically between the two most distance hooks points should be not more than 2 meters. There shall be the self-closing hooks and have overload indicator flag embedded in the stitching. It shall be manufactured after 2000. So you need this for each crew member. Again, in the most of the events we had so far, there were some problems with these tethers. So please be sure and double check that you have tethers that are complying with the rules. Now I come back to the dead grab bag that I mentioned several times. So the grab bag should have minimum following contents: the watertight handheld marine VHF with the spare batteries that I mentioned from the previous slide, a watertight flashlight with the spare batteries and bulb that were also mentioned. Then the 3 red hand flares that are in addition to 4 already required, the watertight strobe light with the spare batteries mentioned before, and the knife in addition to one that is already required in the cockpit. So the grab bag shall have inherent flotation at least 0.1 square meter and fluorescent or orange color on the outside, and shall be marked with the name of the boat and shall have lanyard and a clip. So please, when talking about grab bag, pay attention to those items that are already required, plus these 2 items that are 3 red head flares and the knife that are in addition to those already required. A live buoy with self-igniting light, a whistle and a drog within the reach of the helmsman and ready for intermediate use. Heaving line, so 15 to 25 millimeters long, not less than 6 millimeters in diameter, readily is accessible to cockpit. Recovery sling, so basically this is a device to help you to recover the person from the water in the boat. It is buoyant line of length no less than the shorter of 4 times LOA or 36 meters. Buoyancy section with not less than 90 newtons and minimum strength capable to hoist the crew member aboard. Again, I have seen that in some championship there were some crews who were trying to show us something that they can improvise But if you really want to be sure to comply fully with these requirements of the length and of the buoyancy, you need probably to have one that is purchased from the shop and that is complying with all the rules required. Lifelines shall be of the stranded stainless steel wire, so minimal 4 millimeters for LOA less than 13 or minimal 5 meter for more than 13. And now to be 100% clear again, Dyneema lifelines are not allowed, neither on transom, neither on site. And we had situation that where the boats had to change the lifelines because at some point that for category 4 is allowed, but for category 3, Dyneema lifelines are not allowed. The only piece of Dyneema that is allowed is maybe 10, no more than 10 centimeters, the end of each lifeline. And the lifelines obviously should be taught in the sense that if you are applying the deflecting force of 4 kilos at the midpoint, then the deflection should be 50 millimeters for an upper or single lifeline and 120 meters for an intermediate lifeline. So again, here what is important, no Dyneema lifelines. Be sure if you have it, you still have a time to replace your lifelines. Jack stays shall be independent on each side of the deck, enable a crew member to move readily between the working areas, have a braking thread of 240 kilos, uncoated and non-sleeve stainless steel wire or minimum diameter 5 millimeters webbing or HMP rope. Jack stays needs to be mounted on the deck for the offshore races only from the moment when boats are leaving the dock. So from the moment you are leaving the dock, you need to be ready, and you need the jack stays to have for the offshore races only on the deck. Clipping points shall be adjusted to the stations such as the helms, sheetwich, and mast, and shall enable crew member to clip on and before coming on deck and unclip after going below. Storm and heavy weather sails. So I mentioned before, these sails shall be measured. These sails, storm and heavy weather, take them as I always like to say, is a kind of piece of the safety equipment, just like, for example, fire extinguisher. They are not counted in the number of sails you are maximum allowed. They shall be on boat all the time, regardless if I said before that you can select how many sails you want to have, but these are the safety equipment and these shall be on the boat all the time. Out of this storm and heavy weather sails, it's required heavy weather jib, which is area not greater than 35% of the height of the 4 triangle square. Basically, this area minimum is also reported on the first page of your certificate. It shall have readily available means independent of luff groove to attach to the stay. The heavy weather is actually, if you see here, you have the numbers for heavy weather jib, storm jib, and the trysail. Storm jib is, if you have it, is definitely smaller than the heavy weather jib, and of course it's acceptable. But if you want to have, if you have only heavy weather jib, you can also have a heavy weather jib only. Then you can have either the storm trysail as defined in ORSI or mainsail reefing to reduce the loft by at least 40%. If you want to use this reefing of 40%, then we will need to measure that sail and to understand that your reef point is reducing the loft by 40%. This is usually quite a lot. It's, I would say, second and sometimes even third reef. So if you want to use this, be sure that you have reefing point that is reducing the loft for 40%. Storm trysail shall have no headboard, no buttons, and material of the body of the storm sail purchased after 2013 shall have a highly visible color as a day glow pink, orange, or yellow. And storm, again, repeating, the storm and heavy weather sails shall be measured because we need to see that the area of the sails that you are using is less than the maximum printed on your certificate as required. So be sure also to have it measured. Many times we are measuring lots of these sails because sailors are just bringing us the heavy weather or storm jib and saying, this is my sail, but there is absolutely no measurement or something, and then we have to measure. An emergency tiller is capable of being fitted to the rudder stock except when the principal method is by means of unbreakable metal tiller. There are two methods. Basically, when you have the twin rudders or something, or two methods that are neither of which shares components with the other except for the rudder stock. Basically, if one is broken, the others can still work. And a method of emergency stealing with the rudder disabled. So this completes now the safety equipment. Again, I strongly recommend you and urge you to check the checklist on the website. Matteo, is any questions, any comments for the moment?
No, there was a comment about the navigational charts, but it's been answered on the chat. The question was if they also need paper charts, why they're having like different digital charts, and but the rule is saying navigational charts, not solely electronic.
Yeah, the answer is for the moment, yes, we still need it, the paper charts. Obviously for the area where the race will be.
In the notice of race, point 14, there is listed nautical charts for the area, specific ones.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. So this is basically what we will be checking before the racing. Now we go what will be checked after the racing. On the water, we will have the RIPs with the technical committee members, and they will randomly approach the boat. And then after each inshore race, we will check the presence of event stickers on the sails on board, the position of the items recorded in the measurement inventory, and major OSR compliance, such as tension of the lifelines or something that you can briefly check and see. Of course, here is important that sails that are registered, only the sails that are registered have event sticker are on board, and we don't want to find the sails that is not registered for the event. And this will be simply randomly, depending on the situation, that the technical committee will go jump from boat to boat. Then at the dock, we go through the checks of 3 boats in each class. So for the first boat in each class, we will be checking flotation. We will meet you, and then organizing full flotation is always we need to find the space and the conditions, and hopefully we will have conditions. I think that when I was in May in Klaipėda doing the measurement seminar, I think that we will have space to find it. Just for your information, on the World Championship in Sorrento was almost impossible because of the marina and because of the wind. But obviously, if we do flotation, we will arrange the date and time and the place where we make it. Sometimes this, unfortunately, can mean that we can do it later in the night or even early in the morning. But let's hope that we will do it on easy way. In the second boat in each class, we are checking the sails. So we will have the sail measurement area, basically the largest of each, the largest of mainsail, headsail set on the forestay, asymmetric spinnaker, and all headsails set flying, and all asymmetric spinnakers with SHW to SFL less than 85%. And then the crew weight, as I mentioned before, so the third boat in each class is the crew weight weighted in the light street clothes. Again, short trousers, t-shirt, and flip-flops is the minimum. So these criteria shall then be applied by the end of each racing day, except when the boat is supposed to be inspected and for an item previously checked. So if you are checked on the flotation on the first day, very probably, or you will not be changed again. then next day you will be changed for the sails, and then on the end you will be changed. You may be changed for the crew weight. And we can also use the boats placed 4, 5, 6 altogether. Basically, the idea is that by the end of the race or the event, I think that for sure in each class, top 5 or 6 boats will be checked for something, and will be checked. You may always be checked, but independently from the results, any boat can be inspected if there is any measurement protest, or if there is anything that we found unusual, or we believe that it has to be checked. Of course, always the responsibility to comply with the certificate, it remains on the owner and the crew all the time. So if the technical committee finds the boat does not comply with ORC rating rules, it shall protest the boat, and it may protest the boat for any infringement of the special regs. So the flotation check will start with the freeboard measurements. We will run the test certificate, and if the new APH will be compared with those that you have on the certificate, if the difference is less than 0.1%, the boat will be considered in compliance, and we will stop at that point. If the difference is greater, then we will continue also with inclining test. And after that new test, after we complete everything, if the difference is still greater than 0.1%, the technical committee will protest the boat, and ORC rule 305.2 will be applied. So what does this rule says? This is our rule that defines the penalty for any non-compliance with the certificate. So basically, on the rating rules, we cannot set the tolerance on the single measurement, because each single measurement is affecting your rating. So what we are setting up a tolerance on the rating, which is expressed in APH as a general number that we are using for this. So if whatever check we do and we rerun the certificate, as said, if the difference is less than 0.1 or equal 0.1%, so everything is okay. There will be no protest, and both will be complied, will be deemed to comply with the certificate. If the difference is between 0.1% but less, more than 0.1 but less than or equal 0.25%, there will be no penalty, but all the races will be rescored with the new certificate using the new certificate data. And knowing that we usually have very close racing in the corrected times, particularly in inshore races, yes, this may affect the results, and you may get worse places or from what you had. But the good thing, let's say, under quotation mark, the good thing is that there will be no other penalty. However, if the difference is more than 0.25 but less than 0.40, then the scoring penalty of 50% of the score of did not finish, rounded to the nearest whole number. So basically, you are getting immediately scoring 50%, meaning that very probably if you are being selected and checked as one of the top 3 boats, and then you get the scores penalties of 50% in one or more races, very probably you will be out of the podium fight or something like this. So be sure again that your boat comply with your certificate. Of course, if the difference is even more, 40% or more, then the penalty is disqualification, and boat cannot even continue to race until it's put completely in compliance with the certificate. If the crew weight is found greater than the maximum or smaller than the minimum, then the technical protest will be boat. And please note that I am repeating it again, that any infringement related to the crew weight is not considered as an issue of compliance with the certificate, and it's not subject to the APH comparison. Basically, the penalty is disqualification in all races in which the boat has found with the crew accessing the limits. So the same principle applies for other item declared by the owner, like use of asymmetric spinnaker tack on the center line. So if you have in your configuration, for example, symmetric and asymmetric spinnaker with the bowsprit and the spinnaker pole, and you declare that you will using asymmetric only on the bowsprit, but you are found that you are using it on the spinnaker pole, then it's not a question of rerunning certificate and checking the APH. It's simply breaking the rule that you are declaring. And again, the penalty will probably be disqualification. What can be modified during the championship? Crew changes. So this is one of the usual questions all people are usually also asking. So once the entry is accepted, each boat shall submit the crew list that shall include all crew members who will be on the board of the start of the first race. So basically, the crew list is only the people who will be on the first race. After the first race, changes in the crew, adding new crew members, replacing or disembarking crew members shall be notified to the race office, mostly through your manage to sail system. Crew changes will be automatically approved provided the crew weight after the change is within the limits defined in the ORC certificate. The only limitation that the substituted crew member from one boat shall not be aboard or any other competing boat through the remainder of the series. So, trying to summarize again, crew list, only the boats that are on the boat on the first race. You can do as many as you want changes, take one out, replace or add, as long as you are after the change within the minimum and maximum in the certificate. The only limitation that one person that was on the one boat during the series cannot go to any other boat. Hope this is clear. If there's any questions, also let me know. Equipment changes, as said, substitution or damage or lost equipment is not allowed unless authorized by technical committee. So at the first reasonable opportunity, if it is sales or something is damaged beyond repair, we need to see the damaged sail and then to remove it and approve the use of other sails. But any other equipment and anything that you want to substitute or there is damage, you need to make a request to the technical committee. And this concludes my presentation. Matteo, are there any other questions?
No, at the moment there are no questions on the chat.
Good. Sorry, just to go back here. Okay. So, I don't know, Eckhart, do you want to say anything or add anything from your points at the moment? Again, I know that we are mostly focused on the technical committee, but then most of the sailors will meet you and see you during the championship. But is there anything that you want to give the message to the sailors now?
Not from my side. If there are specific questions that you need to know before the race, I would be happy, but there will be a handstand briefing in the beginning, and I will guide you through the notice of race and to the sailing instructions for the specific races. So for the moment, there's no need from my side.
Okay, thank you. Mantas, you want to, from the organizer point of view, to add anything what is needed?
Just we are preparing. Now is the hot days already, the last final preparation. So from my side, it's just that we're waiting you in Klaipėda, and we will prepare for you a good event, not only on the water, but on the shore. We are also preparing program, concerts, and everything. So looking forward to the event.
Thank you. If there is, final possibility to ask any question, if not, well, the question is, will the long to be routed? Sorry, just to open it.
Will the long offshore be considered to be routed through Russian EC?
This question for the organizers, but I don't think that.
No, we're not. I think we're not touching the Russian
It's
Russian waters for sure for with the race course.
yeah. Okay.
Definitely not.
Any other questions? So just a reminder that by tomorrow or by the end of the week, you will get this email about selecting the slot for the scheduling for the pre-race inspection. Be sure the emails will be sent to the email address that are registered for each boat in the manage to sail.
Okay. If you will have any questions regarding the arrival, regarding the docking, we will post the docking plan also in the manage to sail. So just follow manage to sail. There will be all the latest data and the documents uploaded there.
Yeah, and for the technical inspection and the questions about what the presentation and what we were just discussing, Matteo just posted these events at orc.org or any.
Can I have a final question?
Sure.
About VHF hand VHF in the grab bag. So should it be 2 hand VHFs in the boat, or one is okay to have it in the grab bag and then one is build it in the boat?
No, handheld is only one in the grab bag, but there should be one VHF that is built in, that is not handheld, let's say the one. So the handheld is one in the grab bag.
Yeah, it should be put in the grab bag when not in use. So if you're using it, obviously not. Otherwise, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you all. I think that we will now probably at some point we can even stop recording.